All rise. The Kosovo Specialist Chambers is now in session.
Be seated. Madam Court Officer, you may call the case.
Good morning, Your Honors. This is case CBC 2020-06. The Specialist Prosecutor versus Hashim Thaçi, Kadri Veseli, Recep Selimi, and Jakub Krasniqi.
Thank you. We will begin the hearing the evidence of prosecution witness W0208. I note that the accused are all appearing today through video link with permission. I also note that W00208 will testify via video conference as granted by the panel in filing F01846. Before we begin with the actual hearing, Madam Court Officer, please bring us into private session.
Your Honors, we are now in public session.
Witness, the court officer seated next to you will now provide you with the text of the solemn declaration, which you are asked to take pursuant to Rule 141, Paragraph 2 of the rules. Can you see, the print is rather small. Can you see it all right? If you can't, I can read it to you. Then now you can read it aloud.
I can read it.
Da pročitam.
Should I read it now?
Now,
Conscious of the significance of my testimony and my legal responsibility, I solemnly declare that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and that I shall not withhold anything which has come to my knowledge.
could you repeat that? We're breaking up.
Da pročitam.
Should I read it? Conscious of the significance of my testimony, conscious of the significance of my testimony and my legal responsibility, I solemnly declare that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and that I shall not withhold anything which has come to my knowledge.
To the court officer.
Hvala lijepo.
Thank you.
Translation, all right?
Za sada čujem dobro.
So far, I can hear everything well.
Today we will start your testimony, which is expected to last approximately 1 day. As you may know, the prosecution will ask you questions first. Once they are finished, the defense has the right to ask questions of you, and members of the panel may have some questions for you. The prosecution's estimate for your examination is a half an hour.
Hvala.
Thank you for that.
4 hours. As regards each estimate, we hope the counsel will be judicious in their use of time. The panel may allow redirect examination if conditions are met. Please try to answer the questions clearly with short sentences. If you don't understand a question, feel free to ask counsel to repeat the question or tell them that you don't understand and they will clarify. Also, please try to indicate the basis of your knowledge of facts and circumstances that you will be asked about. In the event that you are asked by the SBO to attest to some corrections made regarding your statements, you are reminded to confirm on the record that the written statement as corrected by the list of corrections accurately reflects your declaration. Please also speak into the microphone and wait 5 seconds before answering a question and speak at a slow pace for the interpreters to catch up with you. During the next days, while you are giving evidence in court, you are not allowed to discuss with anyone the content of your testimony outside of the courtroom. If any person asks you questions outside this court about your testimony, please let us know. The panel understands that the SBO has hard copies of your prior witness statements for you to reference during your testimony in case of need. If you wish to consult these documents, please notify the panel before doing so. Also, please stop talking if I ask you to do so, and also stop talking if you see me raise my hand. These indications mean that I need to give you an additional instruction. If you feel the need to take breaks, please make an indication and an accommodation will be made. Mr. Prosecutor, you may begin.
Good morning, witness. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Dobro jutro,
Good morning. I can hear you loud and clear.
And I'm the counsel for the prosecution. I'll be asking you some questions today for the next 30 minutes. Could you please state your full name and surname for the record, sir?
Thank you.
ja se zove Predrag Dedić.
My name is Predrag Dedić.
What is the date of your birth?
Rođen sam
I was born on the 21st of March, 1932.
Witness, in the past, you gave several statements to various authorities. I will now call up on the screen all those prior statements. If you cannot see them properly on the screen, please refer to your binder and, as advised by the presiding judge, tell the judge every time you make reference to the physical binder in front of you.
laž.
All right.
The screen the following documents, both in English and Serbian versions. English would be 007623 to 007630 red 2. And here the statement would start from page 007627. Have it on the screen? Thank you. And the Serbian version would be U002 -9743 -U002 -9746 red 2. Witness, do you have it in front of you on the screen?
Imam
Yes. Yes, I can see this note from witness interview.
I'm having a technical difficulty in bringing the document up on the screen. In other words, I'm pressing the evidence button and nothing's happening.
Witness, we have a short delay because we have a technical difficulty here.
Može.
All right.
All right, we're ready to proceed. Go ahead, Mr. Prosecutor.
Witness, let me ask you a few questions about this statement. This statement refers to the witness hearing conducted on the 31st of May 2000 before the investigating judge of the court in Belgrade. Sorry. Witness, this refers to a witness hearing conducted on the 31st of May 2000 before the investigating judge of the court in Belgrade. Did you give that statement?
Jesam, dao sam
Yes, I did. I gave this statement in Belgrade.
To page 4 of the Serbian version of this statement, and that would be U0029746. Witness, can you see that page of the Serbian version and the signature there? Can you see that?
vidim.
Yes, I can see that.
Da, moj potpis.
Yes, that's my signature.
Madam Court Officer, can we now pull up two other documents, another statement, and it would be English version U000-0009 to U000-0016 red 2, and Serbian version would have the same number but with SR red at the end. Witness, can you see in front of you another statement, another document?
Da, vidim.
Yes, I can see it. I see it well.
Dated 10th of August 2001, and this is the statement given before the special tribunal for the former Yugoslavia. And my question is, did you also give that statement?
Jesam siguran, jesam.
Yes, I certainly did.
Could we move, Madam Court Officer, to page 7 of the English version of this document, and it will be on page U00-0015. Witness, can you see the signature in front of you on the screen?
Jeste, vidim.
Yes, I can see it.
Is that your signature?
Ne vidim taj potpis moj.
Where do you see my signature?
Ali ne vidim potpis.
I can see the date, the 10th of August, but I can't see the signature.
You should have it on the right-hand side of the screen.
Na engleskom da,
In English, yes. Predrag Dedić, yes, in the English version.
jeste moj lično.
Yes, it is. It's my own signature.
Officer, could we now move to another set of documents? English would be 007-631-TR-ET, Part 1, Red 2. And the document in Serbian will be the same, but without ET, the same number, also Part 1. Witness, can you see another set of documents in front of you?
Da, vidim.
Yes.
This is the interview dated 12th of December 2013, taken by the Special Investigative Task Force. Did you give that statement, witness?
Yes,
Yes, I did, yes.
Witness, during the recent witness preparation meeting, and that meeting took place on the 13th of September 2023, it was at your place and I was present there. Were you given during that meeting an opportunity to review all these prior statements?
pa jesam sigurno.
Yes, yes, of course.
Do you recall that you made some clarifications to these statements during that preparation meeting?
Pa ja mislim da jesam.
Yes, I think so. I'm not sure.
The statements were read back to you, and then the questions were posed to you whether the statements reflect what you had stated. Do you recall that during that process you said to the person reading this to you that some statements need some clarifications? Do you remember that?
Ne sjećam se detalja. Ne.
I don't remember the details. I don't remember.
Then there was, at the end of the process of the statements that were read back to you, there was a note compiled with the clarifications. Do you remember that such a note was read back to you during that preparatory session?
Sjećam se da je pročitano.
Yes, I remember that it was read out. I do.
Can you confirm that what was read back to you in that note reflected your clarifications fully and accurately?
Sve je tačno.
Yes, everything was accurate.
Subject to the clarifications provided in that note, do your written statements, as I listed them earlier, accurately reflect your evidence and what you would say if you were asked again the same questions in court?
Ja, tačno su.
Yes, yes, everything is accurate. It certainly is.
Your Honors, having fulfilled the Rule 154 criteria and in accordance with decision F01848, the SPO hereby tenders all prior statements of this witness in English, Albanian, and Serbian. I also tender the preparation note 1, dated 13th of September 2023, ERN 115381 to 115384.
Nothing from the Krasniqi defense, all right? There are 4 items offered, 007623 to 007630. The second is U000-0009 through 00016, RED2. The third document is 007631, TRET Part 1, RED 2, and the note of clarification, ERN 115381 to 115384. All are admitted, and the court officer will please assign an exhibit number to each.
Your Honor, just maybe one small clarification, if I may. Did Your Honor say in relation to this document 007631 TRET just part 1, it should be part 1 then 6?
Part 1 and 6?
And 6, sorry.
And 6, I did
Okay.
not say that. So it is
From part 1 to 6, yes, exactly. The range from 1 to 6.
to 6, okay.
Yes.
All right, court officer, you may assign exhibit numbers.
Your Honor, the first document 007623 to 007630, and the Serbian under U0029743 to U0029746 RED2 will be exhibit P664. The second document U0000009 to U0000016 RED2, together with the Albanian and Serbian versions, will be exhibit P665. The third statement, or the range of parts 1 to 6, with ERN 007631 TRET RED2. For part 1 will be exhibit P666.1. For part 2 will be P666.2. For part 3 will be P666.3. Part 4 will be P666.4. Part 5 will be P666.5. And part 6 will be P666.6. And lastly, the preparation note with ERN 115381 to 115384 will be exhibit P667. Thank you.
Those are all admitted as noted. Go ahead.
Your Honors, I propose to read a short summary of the witness's 154 statement at this point. In June 1999, witness was living in Rahovac, together with his wife and son. Shortly after the withdrawal of Serbian military and police, KLA soldiers arrived in Rahovac. Some of them came to witness's apartment looking for weapons. Witness was mistreated and threatened for an alleged failure to give his weapons away. The next day, Rahovac KLA commander Ismet Tara arrived at the family's apartment, accompanied by armed and uniformed KLA soldiers. Tara demanded the surrender of all remaining weapons and of the keys to the apartment. Witness and his wife were ordered to leave their home within 15 minutes, which they did, and moved to the Serb part of town. On or around 18th of June 1999, witness's son was abducted by 4 uniformed and armed soldiers with KLA insignia in his mother's presence. They told witness's wife that her son would be taken to the police station for an interview. After receiving information about the abduction, witness went to the KLA police station located next to the fire department building, demanding the release of his son. Witness was himself locked in a room for around an hour and was released only after KFOR's intervention. Ismet Tara and a KFOR member later came to witness's house and assured him and his wife that their son was safe and would be released the next morning. That did not happen, and the next day, witness and his wife again met with Tara, who stated that he didn't know where witness's son might be. Witness's son was never seen again. That concludes the summary of this witness's evidence, Your Honors. I would have a few clarifying questions to this witness.
Go ahead.
Witness, I have a few questions to you. Are you ready?
Yes,
I am.
Statement given to the SITF, and this would be part 4, page 26, lines 13-14, page 27, lines 14-17, or page 21, line 23. You indicated that in June 1999, after you had found about the abduction of your son, you went to the former police building in Orachovac. You also said that at one point you were taken by the KLA member in the direction of the fire brigade building. And I have a question. Did the KLA member who was taking you there to that fire brigade building say anything to you while taking you there?
pitao me dok me
While he was taking me there towards the fire brigade building, he asked me, what had you done? And I told him I didn't do anything. I simply came in to your commander to have an interview. He then let go of my arm so that I never entered the fire brigade building. And I suppose that my son was kept there.
Just to clarify, so you were being taken by that KLA member in the direction of the fire brigade building. You get close to it, but at some point, after this exchange with him, he let go your arm and you turned back. Is that what happened?
nakon razgovora interesantnog
Yes, after that conversation, on his own, he simply let go of me and sent me back.
Did he tell you why he was taking you there to that fire brigade building?
nije mi rekao zašto me vodi.
He didn't tell me why he was taking me to the fire brigade building.
Do you know why you were being taken there to that fire brigade building?
You're going to have more foundation laid to ask
Yes.
that question.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sustained.
Da li može jače, izvinite, molim vas.
Could you please increase the volume?
Malo jače, samo hvala.
Just a little bit, thank you.
You have just told us that you presume that in the fire brigade building your son might be there. What made you think so, that your son might be in that building?
Narod je pričao.
That's what people were saying. Everybody who was taken to the police station was subsequently then led to the fire brigade building, and based on that, I made my conclusions.
You were saying that people were saying. Could you name anybody in particular who told you about the fact that people were kept in that fire brigade building?
Da ne bi izmišljao sada,
I
can't tell you. Other than invent things, I'm not able to tell you now.
Name is Petko Pelevich. Petko Pelevich.
Poznat mi je kako da ne.
Yes, of course, I know him. He was kept in that prison. I know Petko Pelevich well. He was a director of a company, and I know him well.
Pratila jedna ženska osoba iz OVK.
He was escorted by a female from KLA.
You said that Petko Pelevich was kept there. How do you know that he was kept there, in that fire brigade building? How do you know that?
Znao sam, sad ne mogu se setiti.
I used to know that, but I can't remember it now. I can't remember it now. I knew it. I can't remember the details.
Discussion with the family members of Petko Pelevich about his abduction, about him being imprisoned in the fire brigade building.
Mislim da sam razgovarao s...
I think that I talked to his wife. I suppose that I did talk to her.
Ona mi je rekla
She told me that he had been beaten there by a woman to whom he had given a job in his company. And so the wife was questioning why that woman had beaten him when he had done her a favor. That was her question. I know for a fact that the wife told me that.
Did the wife of Petko Pelevich tell you that Petko Pelevich was kept in the fire brigade building in Orahovac? Did she tell you that?
ona je to prenela. Ona mi je to...
Yes, she told me that. She was the one.
Witness, in your statement that you gave to the Special Investigative Task Force, in part 1, page 27, lines 15 and 16, you said the following thing about the fire brigade building. Listen to what you said. And they were taking me to the fire brigade building, I assume, and it is a 1000% collection center for the kidnapped Serbs. How do you know that the fire brigade building was indeed the collection center of the kidnapped Serbs? How do you know that?
Znam, tačno znam, ali
I know for a fact. I know that this was a collection center. People were taken from there and killed there.
How do you know that? Do you know that from anybody in particular? Do you know that from people in Orahovac known to you who are telling me about it? Could you please tell what you know about it to the court? How do you know?
pa saznao sam, kažem, preko...
I learned that through this woman, as I've told you.
Did you learn it from the wife of Petko Pelevich? Is that what you are saying?
Da.
Yes, yes.
Was there also a word in town amongst the Serbian population of Orahovac that that fire brigade building was indeed, as you call it, the collection center for the kidnapped Serbs.
Priča da se privremeno držali tu.
People were saying that people were kept there for a short period of time and then taken from there elsewhere. But where to, I don't know.
Was it the word in town also that people in that building, Serbs in that building, were also mistreated?
Nisam čuo od nikoga da su
I didn't hear anyone saying that they had been mistreated. Other than what Petko's wife told me, I don't know of other cases.
What happened with Petko Pelević?
pa on je prenačen i umro.
He died. Interpreters note that the sound was breaking. We didn't hear the entire sentence.
Do you know anything about the way how Petko Pelević died?
Pa od udaraca
From the beating, his arms were broken. That's what his wife told me, and he was all covered in blood. So I assume that he died from the beating.
Petko Pelević's wife. When did she tell you all about this? The fate of Petko Pelević, the fact that he was detained in that fire brigade. When did she tell you about it?
pa poslije toga
After the event. I'm not sure, but after the event, after everything was over, when he was finished, when he died.
o Petku Petroviću.
I'm referring to Petko Petković.
Petko Petković, is that what you are saying?
Da.
Yes, yes.
Kidnapped, abducted on the 18th of June, 1999. How long before or after the abduction of your son did Petko Pelević's wife told you about all that?
Ne znam Sišo.
I don't know that. I can't remember.
Before or a few days after the abduction of your son?
Pa nakon
After the abduction of my son. This is when she told me. Otherwise, she would not have told me anything.
And it was several days after the abduction of your son, several weeks after.
ne mogu.
No, I can't remember. Believe it or not, I can't. I can't remember because I am getting more and more forgetful.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Did you yourself see any Serbs being kept in that fire brigade building?
Nisam vidio nijedno.
No, I didn't see anyone. I didn't see.
In charge of the fire brigade building at that time?
O, verovali, ne, znao sam ime.
Believe it or not, I knew the first name and the last name, but I can't remember it just now. I know who was the director of the fire brigade building, but I can't remember the name now.
Let me be a bit clearer because my question was not super clear, for which I apologize, witness. My question pertained more to the fact that there was a building, the fire brigade building, and there was a word in town that it was a collection center of the kidnapped Serbs. My question was more, at that time, was there any organization or anybody in particular in charge of that building where these kidnapped Serbs were allegedly held?
Ne znam tako, verovatno bila.
I don't know exactly. There probably was a particular group in charge there.
If you didn't see it yourself, what was the word in town? Who was in charge? Or what organization was in charge of that building?
They didn't know.
You've asked and answered that question.
I think the witness is referring to a certain particular person, and he might
Okay,
be also confusing, Your Honor, the fact.
Well, they'll have to ask it in a shorter question then.
Yes, of course.
I understand your objection. We'll get to the bottom.
Yes, yes. So let me break it down to several simple questions. So you have just told us that there was a fire brigade building in June 1999, and there was a word in town that it was the collection center of the kidnapped Serbs, correct?
Jeste.
Yes. Yes.
Collection center of Serbs in that building. Which person, which organization, if you know?
Nisam potpuno razumljanje.
I didn't quite understand your question.
So you told us about that place being the collection center for the kidnapped Serbs. Who was, or which organization was in charge? Who was, according to the word in town, holding those Serbs there?
A tu tada je paravojna.
At the time, it was the paramilitaries. And from the Ministry of the Interior. When I talked to the commander from Orahovac, to Ismet Tara, he told me that it was the paramilitaries and that he himself didn't know what they were doing there. So there were paramilitaries, there were regulars.
Which organization did he belong to at that time?
On je iz
He is from Orahovac, and I know him personally. I frequently went to his kebab place. I would have breakfast there. He told me that. He, at that moment, was the commander for Orahovac, KLA commander for Orahovac.
So let's talk a little bit about Mr. Ismet Tara. In your prior statements, and I make reference to 007631 TR ET Part 4, pages 34 to 36, you said that you discussed with Commander Ismet Tara the case of your son. And I have a question for you. Did you specifically tell Commander Ismet Tara who you believe was responsible for the abduction of your son? Did you tell him who you believe was responsible for that?
Pa ja mislim da je I on od...
I think that he was responsible for that also. He came to my house with a group of uniformed men, and he advised me to leave the area. He said paramilitaries could come in 15 minutes, and I don't know, maybe they kept in touch.
Was when you, after the abduction of your son, when you met with Commander Ismet Tara, did you tell Ismet Tara that did you tell him who you believe was responsible for your son's abduction? Did you tell him that?
Nisam pitao ko je odgovoran.
I didn't ask who was responsible. I was in such a state that it didn't even cross my mind to ask such a question. Normally, I should have asked him being the person in charge.
You're past your half-hour estimate.
No, I have 10 more minutes, with your permission, if possible.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. No, my question was not whether you asked Mr. Tara. The question was, did you tell Mr. Tara, did you tell him who you believe was responsible for your son's abduction?
Ja sam rekao da su mi oteli.
I told him that my son had been kidnapped by the paramilitaries. And he told me, you should leave the apartment because I lived in the Albanian area. And he advised me to leave as soon as possible.
Whether an organization was responsible for your son's abduction.
Sustained.
Did you?
Rekao sam.
I did say.
Your wife, Božana, specifically tell Ismet Tara who was responsible for the abduction of your son. Did she tell that to him?
Ne sjećam se.
I don't remember.
From your statements, we know that shortly after the abduction of your son, Commander Tara came to your place together with a soldier named Stefan, K4 soldier. You stated that during the visit, Commander Ismet Tara told you in the presence of Stefan that he knew where your son was and that your son will be brought back next morning. And my question is, was your son brought back next morning?
Jeste, tako su mi rekli.
Yes, that's what they told me.
Molim vas, ponovite pitanje.
Could you please repeat the question?
Son brought back next morning, as Ismet Tara promised.
Nisu obećali.
No. This despite the fact that they promised, they said they would come in the morning with my son to our house. And as that didn't happen, I went myself to investigate. However, that German soldier was no longer in Orachovec. He was transferred to Prizren, and that's where it remained. Just empty promises about bringing my son back that never materialized.
Give you an explanation as to why your son was not brought back.
Ništa mi nisu obavljali. Nisu ni dolazili da me obavljali.
No, they didn't come. They didn't even come to inform me. But it's a mystery. Instead of coming to my house in the morning, they never showed up. And Stefan, the German, was gone. He was transferred to Prizren. That's all that I can tell you about what Ismet told me, that Stefan had been transferred.
And I would end there, Your Honors. In your statement to the SITF, Part 4, page 36, lines 12 to 13, you said that you had also later a meeting with Ismet Tara when you asked him about your son, and Tara just told you to leave. He told you, get lost as soon as possible. When you spoke to Ismet Tara on that occasion, was Stefan or any other KFOR member present during that conversation?
Da se sjetim.
Let me try to remember. He wasn't. Ismet Tara was alone, by himself.
Do you know whether Commander Ismet Tara did anything to secure the release of your son after Stefan from KFOR was transferred from Orachovec?
Dok su zajedno bili,
While they were together, they promised that my son would be brought back. Could the witness please repeat the last sentence? The interpreters didn't hear.
And this is my last issue with you, witness. In your SITF statement, it is part 4, page 33, lines 23, 26, you said the following about Stefan. The question from the investigator to you. You previously asked Stefan, you asked him to check on Boban, and you said, yes, yes, and he promised to look for him, but he couldn't do it without the UCK, because they had to cooperate. And my question is, what makes you think that Stefan from KFOR could not release your son without the UCK?
pa pretpostavljam
Well, I suppose that Stefan wished to bring my son back, but probably the UCK were more influential than in that area than he was. I think that the UCK were in charge. They were commanding, actually, even though the KFOR had the duty to protect, but I suppose that he was unable to do that because he was not allowed.
Thank you, Mr. Prosecutor.
Hvala i vam.
Thank you too.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honour. May I just indicate this? I'm not, in fact, going to ask this witness any questions about the harm caused to him by the loss of his son, Boban. And I just want to say why that is. I've met with him and discussed it, and it is his preference not to address that issue, perhaps for understandable reasons. But there's one other short matter related to his harm that I would like to ask him questions about, so I'll do that now with
Go ahead.
his leave. Mr. Delic, you and I have met, but I'm going to introduce myself again. I'm Simon Laws, and I am the victim's counsel in this case. Can you hear me all right, Mr. Delic?
I can hear you.
I just wanted to ask you a couple
Hvala lijepo.
Thank you very much.
questions, really. We know that you left Kosovo in 1999, and I want to ask you if you ever lived there again after that.
Poslije toga ne.
Not after that.
And Mr. Dilic, can you give us some idea about how long your ancestors had lived in Kosovo for?
Pa mi smo,
Well, we had been there a long time, and I suppose that my ancestors, perhaps 200 years ago, had come from Montenegro. But otherwise, my father and the connection was broken, interpreter's note, so we could only hear one part of the witness's answer.
Perhaps you can ask him to repeat the answer, Mr. Laws.
Mr. Dilic, unfortunately, the video link just failed us there for a moment. You were explaining that your ancestors had been in Kosovo for perhaps 200 years and had come from Montenegro. And then you were going to say something about your father, I think. Can you remember what that was and repeat it for us, please?
pa da vam kažem, mi smo tamo.
Well, let me tell you, we had been living there certainly for a long time, and I consider that we had been there always. But the story was told by my father that our origins were in Montenegro. This is what I could tell you about our origins.
Thank you, Mr. Dilic. Those are the questions that I have. Thank you.
Mr. Keogh,
Thank you. Thank you.
we're going to give the witness a short break at this time, and then you can start your cross-examination. Witness, we'll give you a short break, about 15 minutes. The court usher will escort you out of the room. Madam Court Usher. Will you escort the witness out of the room? Mr. Court Officer, can you hear me? Would you escort the witness out of the room?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, Your Honor, we'll do that. Thank you.
Something you need to say? Oh, no. Okay, we're adjourned for 15 minutes. Oh,
We have received, and I think all defence teams have received from the SBO, a revised suggestion procedure for de-redaction, and I think I'm right in saying, certainly for the Vasili defence team, we agree and endorse the prosecution's proposal, which is a slightly different time frame from the proposal that Your Honour's floated.
we'll take that up later.
Yes.
Perhaps if we finish this witness today, we can have a chance to discuss that a bit. Adjourned for 15 minutes.
All rise. All rise.
Be seated. Before we begin, we'll consider that our mid-morning break and hope everything's working for everyone now. We'll go from now until 12:30, break for lunch at that time for the same hour and a half, so we'll be back here at 2 o'clock, and we'll have from 2 until 4 to hopefully finish up with this witness. Mr. Court Officer, you may bring the witness back into your room.
Your Honors, the witness will be with us in a minute.
Thank you. Welcome back, witness. We apologize for the delay. We were still having technical difficulties. I know he's talking,
said
but I'm
something.
not hearing anything. Is there a translation?
Чує, я чую,
I can hear you.
чує.
I can hear you.
Microphone.
Interpreter's note, could you hear the interpretation?
Sis, it looks like the consoles were switched to the original channel in the course of the reset. It's possible changing it to English might allow the interpretation to be heard.
That's as good a suggestion as any.
Testing, can you hear us now?
Чує, чує. Чує. Добре.
Witness, can you hear me now?
Microphone, Judge.
Witness, can you hear me now?
Чує.
I can hear you.
Who's here in the courtroom will have some questions for you now. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning, witness. I represent President Hashim Thaçi, and I'd just like to ask you a few questions that should not be too long. If I ask you a question and you don't understand it, witness, please just let me know and I will try to rephrase it or clear up the question. Is that okay, sir?
У redu, hvala lepo.
Yes, it's all right. Thank you very much.
Point, sir, you know, sometimes when we do a question and answer, I might cut you off and not let you answer the question completely. I apologize ahead of time for doing that, but just please let us know that you haven't completed your answer because the court wants your entire answer. Do you understand that, sir?
Da, razumem, hvala.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Sir, I want to take you back to some items in your testimony or statement that you had given to the SPO and to the Special Investigation Task Force as it relates to the Rahavats battle back in July of 1998. You recall that, don't you?
Da.
Yes.
That battle, the Serb authorities were giving weapons and ammunition to civilians like you and others. Isn't that right?
Jeste.
Yes.
The battle started. You and other civilians living in Rahavats had rifles, guns, and ammunition, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Expected to work with the army and with the police to defend the Serb population against any attack. Isn't that right?
Tako je rečeno.
That's right. That's what we were told, and what I received was not a rifle, but rather a revolver, and I had a license for it, and that's how it was.
You received ammunition as well for your rifle, right?
Da, i municiju.
Yes, ammunition too.
So when the attack took place on the 17th of July of 1998, you were in fact stayed at home, right?
Kući sam bio sam.
Yes, I was alone at home. Rather, with my wife, and there were no other Serbs in the immediate vicinity.
The day of that attack, let me withdraw that. The attack lasted about 2 or 3 hours, right?
Tako, otprilike tako.
Yes, approximately so.
The day the MUP, the police, repelled the KLA forces with heavy machine guns and reinforcements that came from Prizren, right?
Jeste, yes.
Yes, yes.
When this was going on, you didn't witness any kidnappings or any abductions of Serb civilians by the KLA, did you?
Nisam mogao da vidim ja to. Ne.
No, I couldn't have seen anything like that, so that's right, yes.
Let us move ahead, if we can, to the period coming up to June of 1999. So from the attack on Rahovac in July until June of 1999, Rahovac was controlled by the Serb army and the Serb police, right?
Da. Srb.
Yes. The Serbian police, as there was no army in Orahovac.
Well, there ultimately came to be an army in Rahovac in July because you told the press.
Onda kad je, da,
Well, then, yes.
vojska, kao vojska,
The army, as the army, when it came from Prizren to defend it, but otherwise they were not stationed in Orahovac.
In a moment, but you were aware that throughout January, February, March, April, May of 1999, the Serb police as well as the army were forcing Kosovo Albanians from their homes. Isn't that correct?
pa delimično tačno.
Well, it's partly correct.
And which part is correct?
Znate zbog čega kažem?
You know why I'm saying that? I lived in an Albanian environment and we cooperated. Right across were Albanians and they said you should leave Orahovac. And then the army went in front of a bus and said you may freely return to your home. So the family that lived next to me came back home and they said that it was good that they had returned and they had left the keys to their home with me and they returned on the same day.
Throughout Kosovo, you do know that the Serb army and the military police was forcing Kosovo Albanians out of their homes and villages throughout the country, not just in Rahovac, elsewhere. You do know that, right?
Ja za Vrahovac znam, ja ne.
I know about Orahovac, but not about further afield.
Ja sam penzioner bio i
I was an old age pensioner and wasn't really interested.
So if we talk about Rahovac in June of 1999, the Serb army came to Rahovac and told the Serb population that the army and the police were going to withdraw as a result of the agreement at Komanovo. Isn't that right?
jeste.
Yes, right.
Thereafter, when the military and the police left, a lot of the civilian population left as well. Isn't that right?
Tačno.
Right, correct, yes. My wife didn't want to leave, and I didn't want to leave, and so we stayed on. We lived on, and one part of the population did leave together with the army.
Left because the population, the Serb population, left with the army and the police because they were afraid of revenge from Kosovo Albanians coming back into Rahovac, weren't they?
Tačno.
Correct, yes, correct. That was the reason, yes, and that was normal. But my logic was that I hadn't done anyone any harm, so I decided to stay in my apartment, and I did stay.
And I have no quarrel with your decision at the time. I'm just asking some background questions concerning what was happening in Rahovac in June of 1999. So, shortly after the army and the police left with much of the civilian population, the Kosovo Albanians came back into Rahovac, and that started the looting of Serb houses and the violence. Right?
Yes, right, yes, they returned.
Tačno je to.
That's correct.
The people that were intent on revenge as to what happened to them. Isn't that right?
Pa pretpostavljam to je tako.
Well, I suppose that's how it was.
The consequence of that, people came back in, Kosovo Albanians, and they began to loot Serb houses, right?
Ja sam bio u svom stanu.
I was in my apartment. I slept with Albanians, and in the morning, when I wanted to return to my apartment together with my wife, she noticed that someone had taken off the curtains because Albanians had entered the apartment during the night. They looted what they could loot, and from that moment on, I left home. I was looted too. They took everything.
Get to that. And during the same period of time, you had paramilitaries in uniform that weren't from Rahavats that were coming in to Rahavats. Isn't that right?
Jeste, sigurno.
Yes, certainly.
That your wife, Bozana, was in fact told by Ismatara that there were many gangs from Albania that had come, and that he was not able to keep track.
Tako,
That's right, yes.
And that, how can I give you the
tako,
reference?
tako je rekao, tako je rekao.
That's what he said, yes.
Mi smo se poznavali,
We knew Ismet Tara, and he told me that frankly.
Okay.
My apologies, Judge. I was just trying to give counsel the reference to what I was talking about. Counsel, it's K020-8261-K020-8267 at page 265. Okay? So, as soon as the army and the military left and these Kosovo Albanians came back and, these gangs in uniforms, there was chaos in Rahavats, wasn't there?
jeste.
Yes,
That had come in uniform.
Pa vidio sam kroz prozor.
I could see that through my window.
Okay. And these individuals that had come in uniform and the other civilians, the individuals that had come in uniform, they were not from the Rahavats area. They came from elsewhere, didn't they?
It's calling for
Oni koji
speculation.
su ušli kod mene u stanu,
Jonas,
Those who entered my apartment, they were from the surrounding area next to Arhovats, but they were not locals from the town of Arhovats.
So, there were also, you had heard, individuals, paramilitaries, bandits, people that had come from Kachanik to cause problems in Rahavats, didn't you?
jeste, jeste.
Yes, yes.
Kachanik is a city that is way down on the Macedonian border, some distance from Rahavats, wasn't it?
Prema Makedoniji.
Towards Macedonia.
Makedoniji.
Towards Macedonia.
These bandits and paramilitaries, and these were the bandits and paramilitaries, the ones that came from Kachanik, weren't they?
Da,
Yes.
Just a second, he was just interposing.
Yes.
a
Jonas,
question.
could I object to these lines of questions because the witness just a few seconds ago said
Well,
that
if
he
you're
could
gonna
see
have a
that.
speaking objection, I would ask the witness.
Jonas, he could see all that from his window. How could he know that people were from Kachanik, were coming from different directions, Your Honor? That's a foundation issue.
You're going to have to get more out of him as to how he knows these things, and he knows that, how does
Sure.
he know that they're bandits, for example?
So when we were talking about bandits, in fact, Ismet Tara called them bandits, didn't he?
jeste.
Yes.
Other Serbs, questions similarly asked by the SPO, you had found out from other Serbs in the area that these bandits and paramilitaries had come from Kachanik, didn't you?
Jer ja kad sam tražio od Ismet,
When I asked Ismet Tara about it, he said, "What can I tell you? That's not my army." they've come from Kačanik, and that was what I knew because that was what he told me. And perhaps not only from Kačanik, but this is what I was aware of about those people from Kačanik.
And I don't want to put words in your mouth, witness, but it's fair to say that during this period of time, there was chaos in Rahovac, wasn't there?
Pa kako da ne?
Well, of course, yes.
And you had people coming into Kosovo, both in uniform and civilians, who were, and I'm talking about Kosovo Albanians, who were celebrating what they thought was a victory over the Serb forces, right?
Pa jest.
Well, yes.
And in fact, there were celebrations during the evening in Rahovac as a result of the
Kako da je? Jeste.
Yes, of course, yes. They were celebrating, firing celebratory shots.
And with regard to the looting, someone someone in uniform came and took your car, and that person also took your shoes, right?
Jeste, jeste.
Yes, yes.
A znam
He came, and I knew this Albanian man from Orahovac, but he had put on a uniform to intimidate others, and he had some boots that he didn't like, so he took my shoes, and that's how it was.
You told the SPO, and this is at P666, Part 4, page 15, 11, and 19, that he was not a regular soldier, was he?
nije bio. Pretpostavljam da nije bio.
No, he wasn't. I suppose that he wasn't because he wouldn't have been so poorly dressed. He also asked for keys of my garage door, and my wife said, "Throw him the keys," because he was threatening. He said, "I will come upstairs and I will beat you up." So I threw the keys through the window down to him. So he opened the garage and he took away my car.
You talked this morning about Ismet Tara coming to your house, your flat, and he came in civilian clothes, right?
Kao civil.
Yes, he was in civilian clothes.
That he came with were from Rahovac, weren't they?
Uniformi.
In uniform.
Za Rakusa ne znam.
Now, whether they were from Orahovac or not, I wouldn't know.
That had come
To je
before.
njegova pratnja bila, šta ja znam.
They were his escort, but I don't know if they were locals from Orahovac.
Well, you noted for us that, and we'll get to this, that you thought that they were from the area because they spoke Serbian. Isn't that right?
Srpske, da.
Serbian, yes. Serbian. And this is why I suppose that they were all from Orahovac.
Soldiers that had come before them, that you did not know those soldiers, right?
Nisam poznavao ni
No, I didn't know a single one of them. They came inside, they beat me up, they took away the chandelier, and then they did a number of things, but I survived.
your knowledge, those soldiers were not from the Rahavac area, were they?
Koliko ja znam, nisu bili iz Orahovice.
As far as I know, they were not from Orahovac.
Ismet Tara and these 4 soldiers came to see you. You told the SPO that they came with good intentions. Isn't that right?
U dobrim namerama.
Yes, good intentions.
He was concerned that these soldiers had been to your house previously and had mistreated you, and he was there to make sure you and your wife were okay. Isn't that right?
Pretpostavljam da je tako.
I suppose so, and I thank him for that.
And you thanked him for the fact that he, Ismet Tara, and these other soldiers protected you and escorted you into
To je
the...
došlo na viziju.
He had come by to see how I was doing.
He came by to do that because he was concerned about you. Isn't that correct?
Pretpostavljam da je i zato mi je rekao, kaže,
Yes, I guess. And that's why he told me you should move away immediately. Because he thought that others would come along soon.
Others who thought they were going to come home soon were these bandits and paramilitaries that he didn't have any control over. Isn't that right?
Calling for speculation, Your Honors, how could he know that?
pretpostavljam da je tako. Tako.
I suppose so, yes.
He tell you that
It is speculative. You may go on, though.
yeah,
Ask another question.
he did tell you at some point that he didn't have any control over these bandits and paramilitaries, didn't he?
Rekao je tako.
Yes, that's what he said.
Now, because of his concern, Ismet Tara and those soldiers escorted you and your wife to the Serb area so nothing would happen to them, happen to you. Isn't that right?
Ja sam organizovao
I organized a neighbor, an Albanian, with a car. He drove us from our apartment to the Serbian part, and I was also able to collect some belongings to take with us.
But you were escorted to this Serb area by Ismet Tara, aren't you?
nije me on pratio.
No, he didn't escort us. I asked another Albanian, a neighbor from the neighborhood, who had a car. We were able to load some belongings that we needed so that wife and I were driven by him to the Serbian area.
And I'm talking about we are talking about P0065 at page 12. Did you tell the prosecutor's office, Ismet Tara said he believed me and that we had 20 minutes to leave and that he would escort me? Did you tell them that?
Ja nisam to rekao.
No, I didn't say so. He did not escort us. I left on my own. But he did say, leave in some 15 to 20 minutes.
Told the prosecutor that he would escort you?
Da ću ispratiti.
I don't think he said so, and I don't remember having said that.
You just tell us what you remember, sir, okay? And we're not asking any more than that. So you, in fact, were taken over to the Serb section of Rahavac that day, right?
Jeste.
Yes.
That because he was concerned about you and that other people.
Pa, rekao mi je da se
He told me to move away, and when I drove through the central area of Orahovac, there was a large crowd there. The Albanians were hitting on the car in which we were driving. They could tell that we were Serbs. Fortunately, the driver didn't stop in the central area, so we were able to reach our destination without being injured.
Thank you, thank God. So it was shortly thereafter, the next day, when
tako je.
Correct.
your son, by the way, your son had gone to the Serb area of Rahavac several days before, right?
Jeste.
Yes.
When your wife got to the Serb area, your wife and son went back to get some supplies the next day or the day after, is that right?
Jeste.
Yes, yes.
I know that you weren't there, but your wife told you what had happened, right?
Jeste.
Yes.
That when your son's car wouldn't start, that one of the soldiers that she knew, Mustafa Mulalia, told her that she better get out of that place as soon as possible, right?
Jeste. Tu i u
Yes. It was there in the yard, this Albanian, and my wife recognized him. And he camouflaged himself. He put the cap over his head.
This individual, Mustafa Malalia, was a KLA soldier that was telling your wife that you had to leave, right?
Jeste.
Yes.
That you had to leave because the area was full of these other troops, these bandits and paramilitaries. Isn't that right?
Pa jeste. Jeste.
Well, yes, yes.
One individual that your wife knew, and by the way, did she know him because she had taught him in school?
Pa pretpostavljam, ja ne.
I suppose so. I'm not sure. My wife knew more of them than I did.
What we have is we have someone who is part of the KLA trying to protect your wife against these other individuals, these bandits and paramilitaries. Isn't that right?
Tako sam se osjećao ja.
That's how I felt it. That's what I thought they were trying to do.
As we move on, you had another Albanian neighbor, Nail Raba, who talked to your wife and said to her You have to leave and tell your son not to come out of the house because these bandits or paramilitaries are around, right?
Govorili su tako.
That's what they said, yes.
This is your wife telling you these facts, right?
Jeste.
Yes.
Point that your son came out and these bandits or paramilitaries in a Mercedes took your son. Is that right?
Jeste.
Yes.
Taught school in Rahavat. She didn't know any of these bandits and paramilitaries who took your son, did he? Did she?
Ne, nije poznavala.
She didn't know them.
After you went to she got home, told you what happened, and you went to the police station, right?
Ja sam otišao.
I went to the police station because I was told that Boban had been taken to the police station. Since my wife stayed talking to Albanians, I asked another Albanian to come with me to the police station. Nobody wanted to accompany me, or they simply didn't dare. So I went by myself, and I was locked up there. They asked me, "Why did you come?" I said, "I came looking for my son. I was told that he was taken here for an interview." However, they locked me up.
When you were questioned as to why you were there were a group of men in camouflage uniforms out in front of the headquarters, right?
Ispred zgrade su bili.
In front of the building.
You didn't recognize any of those men, did you?
Ne, ne, ne.
No, no.
Rahavac is a relatively small town, isn't it?
Malo mesto.
Small.
These men in camouflage uniforms in
Pa
front of the
šta, bio sam izbunjen.
Well, I was confused. I didn't really try to identify them, see who they were.
If you had recognized them, you would be telling us today that you recognized some of these soldiers, but you didn't. Isn't that right?
Nisam prepoznao.
I didn't recognize anyone.
That you were taken into the headquarters and then someone was taking you over to the fire brigade, but that you were then taken back to the police headquarters, right?
Jeste.
Yes.
Went into the fire brigade, right?
Nisam ušao.
No, I didn't enter. No.
Treated there, right?
Pa nisam mogao da.
I couldn't see that, no.
Headquarters, and you were in the police headquarters. The K-4 officer that you knew, Stefan, showed up at the headquarters, right?
Žena je za.
My wife asked K4 to intervene as soon as possible. She told them that I had gone to the police station and wasn't coming back. So she went to the police station together with the K4 patrol and inquired about me and Boban. And I heard that conversation. These people were saying, "No, they're not there. Predrag is not there. Boban is not there." Upon hearing that in Albanian, I yelled, "I'm here. I'm Predrag." And Stefan recognized my voice. He said, "Predrag is here." they kept me in one of the offices while they were talking to them.
Asked K4 to intervene, and they did intervene, didn't they?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Sreće što je to
Fortunately, this all happened in a short period of time. Not a lot of time elapsed, because had I stayed there for another half an hour, I would have been transferred somewhere else. However, he managed to arrive while I was still there locked up, and as a result, I'm still alive today, fortunately.
Have a situation in Rahavats where it's chaotic with people coming back in to Rahavats, other bandits and paramilitaries coming back in, and K4 is trying to secure the town. Isn't that right?
pokušavali su.
They were trying. But I don't think they were powerful enough.
All of this chaos is going on at the same time, isn't it? The 17th, 18th, 19th of July.
Yes.
June.
Yes.
And I think you said to the prosecutor this morning that K4 didn't have the power to get your son released, but they did have the power to get you released, right?
Pa nisu, ne znam.
Well, they didn't. I don't know.
Your friend from K4 came to the police headquarters and got you released, right?
S tom namerom, to sam da me oslobodi. Sa tom namerom.
He came wanting to free me, to get me out. However, he didn't succeed.
You were released, did he not? Because you were released.
Odakle?
From where?
From the police headquarters.
Na njegovu inicijativu sigurno nisu me pustili.
They did not release me at his initiative.
Kad bi ja sad sve znao.
Well, if I could explain all of that to you now.
Let us turn our attention to 666.4, page 35 to 18. And this is when Stefan came to see you. And I will just read towards the balance part. Did you say this to the SPO? I decided since the Germans were there, I pushed the door away with my elbow and pushed away the three men and made my way. It was 3 meters away, just to make the Germans see me, nothing more. I did it so swiftly because they were pushing me back to lock me back in. But I was speaking loudly in Albanian. Who is looking for Predrag? I am Predrag. And so those who didn't dare beat me, because
That's correct.
4 people were there. And I was kept at the reception for a little while until after they made an agreement with the chief, Stefan. That's right, isn't it?
Oni su se dogovarali tu.
They were negotiating. They were discussing, and once they established that it was me, initially they said that I wasn't there. Then when I showed up, showed my face, then they couldn't deny it, And then they negotiated some half an hour, and they said that we should meet by the petrol station, some 200 or 300 meters away. And then two UJK soldiers took me there. And then, following that, I was taken to the Serbian part of town. That was all Stefan's doing.
And when you were taken to the Serb part of town, you were taken by some soldiers, and they were provoking you and cursing you and telling you about what all the things the Serbs had done.
A, kako da ne.
Yes, of course.
And you understood, did you not, that those people were intent on revenge for what happened to them? Isn't that right?
Ha, pretpostavljam tako.
I suppose so.
Now, with regard to your steps to find your son, and I'm sorry about what happened to your son, it was, if I may, it was your belief that both Stefan and Ismat Tara were in fact trying to find out where your son was and to get him released, weren't they?
Tako je.
That's right.
It was thereafter that when you made question further, that Ismat Tara said that they had been taken by paramilitaries from another area, right?
Tako je.
That's right.
And in fact, he told you that these were paramilitaries that he didn't have any control over, right?
Tako je rekao.
That's what he said.
And these were part of the paramilitaries that were from Kachanik, according to Ismat Tara, right?
Pa, pretpostavljam da iz Kačanika šta.
I suppose they were from Kačanik. They were not from Orhovac.
That they were from Kachanik, didn't he?
Could we get the reference, Your Honors, for that? Could you get the reference for that
He
proposition?
said previously. I'll withdraw the question because he said so previously. Now, there came a time when you were in the Serb section of Rahovac in August of 1999, where somebody shot into the Serb area, right?
O, kako da ne, yes.
Yes, yes, of course.
You didn't see the person that was shooting into the area, did you?
Ma jo.
No.
And your area at the time was right next to the K4 base, wasn't it?
Jeste.
Yes?
Just moving ahead, there came a time in October, moving ahead to October, where you and other Serbs decided that you were going to leave Kosovo, right?
Jeste.
Yes?
I think you told the prosecutor, is that right?
U Crnu Goru.
To Montenegro.
To Montenegro, you were on a bus, but there were other automobiles with you as well, right?
Bilo je 5 autobusa.
There were 5 buses and 23 cars.
Interrupt you. I'm not sure if he finished his answer or not, but I'll just ask the next question. Okay. And it was a group of Kosovo Albanian civilians who looted those cars that were being driven by the Serbs, wasn't it?
Jeste.
Yes.
Moment, Judge.
Yes.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I have no further questions. Witness, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Keo. The Saley defense.
We have no questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Young,
No, thank you.
Mr. Ellis. Or-
Your Honor, just that I did inform the court that I had cut down on my time, so
Yes. Take your time, Mr. Basio. There's no rush.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good
Witness,
afternoon,
we have
witness.
some questions from another one of the defense attorneys at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, witness. My name is Victor Beesho, and I represent Jakub Krasnici. I would like to start by asking you some questions about a specific document. I would like to call up on the screen document SITF 4001059 to SITF 4001064-ET revised. Witness, I would like to ask you a few questions about some information your wife, Bojana, gave to the Humanitarian Law Center in Belgrade in July of 1999. You are aware that your wife gave that statement, aren't you? Just as you gave a statement.
Yes, that wasn't.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
In 1999, Boban was 37 years old. Is that accurate? Maybe.
Didn't hear you well.
My question was whether in 1999 your son Boban was 37 years old.
Yes.
Yes.
Serviced, he kept a weapon at home, didn't he?
Well,
Well, he did. He had it.
In her statement, your wife described how on 18th of June 1999, a group of individuals wearing KLA uniforms grabbed your son and took him to the police station in Orahovac. Your wife shared with you those details, didn't she?
Yes.
Yes, she did.
If we could please scroll down to page 3 of this document. go to page 3 and scroll down. All the way to the bottom, and then it continues on page 4. Question: your wife said that after she saw this happening, she was in shock and felt sick. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes.
There was a different group of young boys who were also wearing KLA uniforms and who your wife knew were from Orachovac. They brought to your wife water and a chair to help herself pull herself together. Isn't this what your wife told you?
Da, da.
Yes. When they took him, she knew that Albanian, and he was like a guard in the cellar of this company. And when he recognized her, he said, teacher, why don't you sit down and pull yourself together?
And they offered her a bottle of water and a chair to sit, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Fair to say, witness, that during this incident, these two groups of individuals behaved differently towards your wife.
Oh, yes.
Well, yes.
If we could scroll, please, to page 5 of this document. Up until the incident with Boban, you were living in a building where most of the residents were Albanian, correct?
Tačno. Yes.
Correct, yes.
Statement, your wife described an incident when a group of 5 paramilitaries disfigured the face of a 30-year-old Albanian woman. Do you recall this incident?
Yes.
Yes. I remember, yes.
Do you recall the approximate date of this incident?
Ne mogu se sjetiti.
Oh, no, I can't remember. I can't recall.
In the summer of 1999, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Incident, the same group of paramilitaries killed an Albanian man, didn't they?
Ne mogu se sjetiti.
I cannot remember.
Ne mogu se
And do you
sjetiti.
remember? During this incident, brought as help a police officer?
Ne sjećam se.
Sir,
I don't remember.
the question again. Your son, Boban, during this incident we are talking about, did he bring as help a police officer with whom he used to hang around?
Ja, ne, majku. Ne mogu se sjetiti.
Oh God, I can't remember. I don't know.
You and your wife asked this man who they were, and they said that they signed up in the regular army as volunteers but became outlaws and were taken to looting. Do you recall saying that to you and to your wife?
Iskreno da kažem, ne sjećam se.
To be frank, I don't remember. I have forgotten it. What can I do? I've forgotten.
Thank you, witness. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Redirect.
Nothing, Your Honors.
Can we break now?
Huh?
Can we break now at least for 10 minutes?
Yeah. Why are we going to? We'll take another short break for this witness, about 10 minutes, and then we'll be back at the courtroom.
All rise. Can you take the witness outside, Mr. Court Officer? All rise.
Please be seated. Mr. Court Officer, you can bring the witness into the room. Welcome back, witness. Did you get it?
Thank you.
Did you have a chance to get a little rest? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now, witness?
Good. I can hear you. I hear you. Perhaps the volume could be reduced a bit.
Go on.
Just a bit.
We're glad you're back with us. My colleague, Judge Barta, may have some questions for you.
Good afternoon, witness. I hope you can hear me well.
I do.
A few more questions for you. And before I start, I would like to say that the panel had some difficulties to fully understand parts of your statement. And the questions I will ask you are intended to clear up any ambiguities that may have arisen from your testimony today. Do you understand that, witness?
Yes.
Question concerns the preparation session you had with the SPO a couple of weeks ago on 13 September 2023. Do you remember that you had such a meeting with the prosecution in September? Ask again, do you remember that you met someone from the prosecution in September this year?
Yes, yes.
Yes, I did. That's right.
The prosecution has compiled a note about this meeting. According to paragraph 14 of this note, this is P 667, you were asked whether it was Stefan, the German KFOR soldier, or Ismet Tara, who said about your son, "We know where he is, he's safe, don't worry, tomorrow by 10 o'clock we will bring him over." And you answered that this was said by Mr. Tara.
Tako je.
That's right.
Said that you had the impression that Mr. Tara knew exactly where Boban was when he said that. My question is for you, why did you think that Mr. Tara knew exactly where your son was at the time?
Pa on je lično, on je izgovorio to.
Well, he personally said that. How did I know? He said, "We know where he is," which is most important, and the next morning we'll come here together with your son and with Stefan. Those were his words.
In your interview with the SITF, the Special Investigative Task Force, in December 2013, you said that you met Mr. Tara on the following day when he was passing by in his car, and that he told you then, I quote, "Paramilitary took him, and that is for sure." And he also said, according to that, to your interview, "We don't know where he is," end of quote. This is from P666, point 4, page 36, paragraphs 12 to 13. My question is, witness, is it correct that Mr. Tara told you on the following morning that paramilitaries took your son and that he did not know where he is, where Boban is?
Ja sam se sreo sa njim.
I met him and I went towards, what's it called? I went to the K4 and he said, "Why are you going there now?" And I said, "Well, to ask them, because you said you'd come together with my son, but you didn't come." And he said, "Well, now I don't know where he is." So suddenly it was, I don't know. What that was supposed to mean, I don't know.
And Mr. Tara mentioned in this conversation with you that paramilitaries took him, took Boban. Did he say that? If you can recall.
Da li je rekao tako, ne.
Well, did he say it exactly like that? I don't know, but he did say, "I don't know where he is."
Thank you. My next question is also about your preparation session with the SPO, the prosecution, on 13 September 2023. In paragraph 5 of a different preparation note, this is preparation note 2, ERN 115-385 to 115-387, it is stated that your wife specifically told Mr. Tara during the first post-abduction meeting that your son had been abducted by the KLA, and that you, witness, also told Mr. Tara during one of the subsequent meetings, I quote, "Those are your people who did it," end of quote. My question is, witness, do you remember saying this to the prosecution in September 2023?
Ne mogu se sjetiti da sam tako rekao.
I cannot remember that those were my exact words. I don't know, but probably I did say so, but it was a long time ago and I have forgotten.
That's not a problem. Do you remember that you told Mr. Tara back in 1999 that those are your people who did it, who abducted your son? Can you remember that?
Pa ja sam rekao, pretpostavljam.
Well, I did say so. I suppose that he had to know, but that was just my own conclusion, and that was what I told him.
Was that during your conversation with Mr. Tara on the following morning when you met him on the street? If you can remember.
Na ulici,
On the street, he told me, don't go out, don't go anywhere, because the paramilitaries are still around. And that's how it was. And we met each other accidentally.
Thank you. And I would also like to know, witness, did Mr. Tara say anything in response when you told him that it was his people who kidnapped your son? Did he say anything to you?
ne sjećam se šta mi je rekao.
I don't remember what he said. He probably did say something, but I can't remember it at all. I have forgotten.
Thank you. And witness, you said in your SITF, Special Investigative Task Force statement, this is for the record P666.4, 666.4, page 37, paragraphs 11 to 12, that from the following day on, from June 1999 on, you never saw Mr. Tara again. Is that correct?
Ne,
No, I didn't see him again.
So is that still true, or have you seen him or talked to Mr. Tara in the meantime? I mean, from the time you gave or you had the interview with the SITF until today?
ne sjećam se da se, ne sjećam se.
I don't remember having seen him at any later point. I can't remember anything like that. No.
Thank you. Now, witness, I'm not sure whether you are aware that Mr. Tara has talked about you and the disappearance of your son on several occasions. And for the record, I'm referring to ERN 083-217TRET Part 18 revised, pages 18 to 23, and 083-217TRET Part 19 revised, pages 1 to 7. This was witnessed for the record. On these occasions, when Mr. Tara talked about you and the disappearance of your son, Mr. Tara claimed that he had not forced you to leave your apartment, but had rather helped you because you were in danger as the only Serb family living in that part of the city of Oraovac at the time, and that he is still proud that he saved you from things that could have happened to you. My question is, what do you say to that?
Pa on baš,
Well, he did advise me to leave for those precise reasons. And I did. I did as he said, of course.
If you can remember, did Mr. Tara ask you for weapons at that time in your apartment?
Ne. Ne.
No, no. He said you should hand over everything that you have, and I did hand it over in good time, so there was no need for that.
Did Mr. Tara ask you for the keys to your apartment?
Ključeve sam sana.
The keys to the apartment, I don't remember that he asked for them. I don't remember that. As far as I know, he did not, but I don't remember.
So you didn't give him your keys, the keys to your apartment?
Ne.
No, no.
Thank you. And witness, what happened to your apartment afterwards? Did you get it back, or did you sell it?
On je opljačkan po sve.
It was looted. Everything was looted. And then they came asking me to sell it. And I sold it for 8,000 marks. The Albanian who came asking me to sell it, blackmailing me, said, if you sell it today, I will pay you 8,000. And tomorrow it will be only 5,000. And so I sold him on that day for 8,000.
Posredstvom drugog šiptara.
And I sold it via another Albanian. And the person who facilitated the sale, I paid him 500 marks for that.
Verovali ne, znao sam ime I prezime.
Believe it or not, I used to know his name and last name, but no longer. I've forgotten it.
Was he an official person, or a civilian, a private person?
Ne, ne. Znao je on da može zaradi neke.
No. He simply knew that he could make some money, so he interposed himself into the deal. I could not arrange anything directly. I arranged everything through him.
Thank you. Witness Mr. Tara also claimed that it was not true that you and your wife had told Mr. Tara that your son Boban had been kidnapped by the KLA, but that you had told him that Boban had gone to town where he apparently disappeared. My question is that true? Have you, or as far as you know, your wife told Mr. Tara that Boban had gone to town where he disappeared?
He disappeared in the presence of his mother.
I repeat the question. According to Mr. Tara, you or your wife have not told him that your son Boban had been kidnapped, but that you had told him that Boban had gone to town and he had disappeared then.
As I've told you, he disappeared in the presence of his mother. They left together. And I'm surprised. How come they left the mother standing there and took him only?
And witness Mr. Tara further claimed that it was not true that you were kept in custody in his, Mr. Tara's, police station, and that you were released only upon the intervention of KFOR. So my question is, please listen carefully, is that true? Were you not kept in the police station when you were looking for your son? Were you free to leave the police station if you had wanted to?
Tačno je ovo da sam ja
What is true is that I went on my own to the police station to inquire, and they locked me up. And it's true that I was in prison. They kept me there. The door wasn't locked. It was an office, but based on their order, I was kept in the police station. And after a certain time passed, they let me leave the police station, and I was escorted by one KLA soldier, and they took me to the fire brigade building. That's how it was. I didn't even want to sit down. There was a bench there in the prison, but I didn't want to sit on it.
And finally, witness Mr. Tara claimed that he had met you and your wife about 10 to 15 times after your son's disappearance, mostly in the presence of internationals. And of those 15 or 10 to 15 times, between 5 to 8 times at the police station. So my question is that true? Did you and your wife meet Mr. Tara about 10 to 15 times after your son's disappearance, including between 5 to 8 times at the police station Orawac?
više od 3-4 puta.
It wasn't more than 3 or 4 times. There was no need for us to meet with him 15 times. That's not true.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Witness, I have a few questions, just 2 or 3. When you use the term paramilitary in connection with the disappearance of your son, what do you mean by that term?
Pa nije direktna vojska uključena u vojsci.
It wasn't the actual army. It was people who just put on the uniforms on their own, and they went around saying that they were an army. For me, it didn't really matter whether they were this or that, but Tara told me specifically that these were paramilitaries wearing that uniform.
Paramilitary or Serbian paramilitary?
Samo na albansku vojsku.
Solely Albanian army.
Thank you. Anything? Judge
No,
Gannon?
no questions, thank you.
All right. Any follow-up questions from the judge's question?
No questions.
No questions, thank you.
No questions, Your Honor.
None, Your Honor.
Mr. Young?
No, thank you. No questions.
Thank you. Witness, you will be happy to know that you are finished testifying today.
Hvala lepo.
We appreciate
Thank you very much.
this.
Hvala i vama. Hvala.
Thank you as well. Thank you for speeding this up. Everything is fine.
Hvala također.
Thank you. And the
Thank you.
out of the room. That will be the end of the video, and we are still in public session. We had planned to talk about the subject brought up by Mr. Emerson this morning, but because of the weather and the need for some people to make it to a train if trains are still running, which some are not, we'll just end this now and we'll take that up Monday morning or sometime Monday. Thank you for your attendance today and everybody's efficiency and understanding of our witnesses' situation, and we will see you Monday at 9 a.m. We are adjourned.
All rise.